everybody, we're here for Rossdale Homes for the next little while. It's an interesting day. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux, Pete's here, and Gary's here, and you're here, and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. When I say it's an interesting day, it's the anniversary of the day I arrived in Adelaide to work at 5DN. And I've been privileged to spend the last 50 years talking to you one way or another, talking to you and with you, and 14 years before that in Sydney at 2GB and Channel 10, which sort of makes me...
Don't say it.
I don't want to think about it. That's nearly 70 years. Anyway, I not quite. But I can add the 4 years here in the garage in the Court of Public Opinion. It all adds up, doesn't it? I can tell you I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I will enjoy these next few minutes with you today. And thank you again to Rossdale Homes. Cold, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, it's cold. It's cold. Shortest day of the year, yesterday. So we're on the way to summer, or spring. Inflation figures out on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're recording on Monday for Tuesday. Weekend auction results, the worst since COVID. Wow. A clearance rate of 47%. Now, that figure will probably come down later in the week as sort of dust settles. But what a shocking result. Well done, Prime Minister. And oh, by the way, Prime Minister, if you haven't seen the results of the latest poll, they say that Pauline Hanson at the, well, when I say at the next election, because it's a bit away, isn't it? But if it was held today, Pauline would win 63 seats in federal parliament. I don't know what the opposition makes of that. Anyway, but they were all in a little huddle. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
A scrum?
Yeah, a scrum. I was reminded of this during the week, but if anyone has any doubts as to whether or not this government is dangerously naive and compromised, it can't be just stupidity. You only have to look at the Australian Building and Construction Commission. Well, you can't, of course, because Labor got rid of it. The ABCC. It was put in place by the Liberals to do something about the standover tactics and the bullying and, yes, corruption that went on building sites around Australia, thanks to the CFMEU. And before them, there was the Builders Labourers Federation, which I think was the union that Bob Hawke closed down for very much the same reasons. Only, of course, to reopen again as the CFMEU. So what's changed? The moment Albanese got into power, they revoked the ABCC. They just closed it down. That was the cop on the beat. You know what they say, there's never one around when you want one. Well, Labor made sure that there wasn't one around on a building site. Gee, I wonder why that was done. The fact is that the CFMEU is the big contributor to the Labor Party. Millions. Do they simply demand, that the union simply demand that the Labor Party get rid of the cop on the beat? Just asking. And it's amazing in these times when it has been proven that the CFMEU swindled Australian people out of 15 and possibly $35 billion on Melbourne's big build. And when all of this was done, on the front page of the 9 newspapers, The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald, thanks to Nick McKenzie, a great journalist, gold-winning Walkley Award winner, the Gold Walkley. The government said, shock horror, we knew nothing about this. Nothing. We knew nothing. And then ordered an inquiry. They appointed people. Of course they did. But it produced nothing. Absolutely nothing. Business as usual. Nothing's changed on any building site in the nation. Can this government look you, us, straight in the eye and say there is no corruption after all this recent history and still refuse to reinstate the ABCC? If you can still vote for them, if you can still vote for them, there is something terribly, terribly wrong here. Rossdale Homes, our sponsors, as I said, family-owned company, famous for their fixed price guarantee. Only you can change the price. No nasty surprises along the way, whether it's your first home or your 10th, I don't know. Rossdale Homes say proudly, when trust is a must, come and talk to us. Only you can change the price. For peace of mind and great quality, rossdalehomes.com.au. Now the left on the ABC, and that I think pretty much is everybody. I don't think you get a job at the ABC unless you're a lefty. They must be feeling a bit insecure at the moment. On the Insiders on Sunday morning, I watch this often. I'm a bit like a moth drawn to a flame. I don't know why. I know what's coming. Anyway, it's quite amazing. I like David Spears. I think he really does try to do the balanced thing.
Yes, I think so.
I think so. I guess we can understand their nervousness, though. They have to stop this move to the right, the move to Pauline Hanson, which is on, as I said a moment ago. She would win 63 seats if a federal election was held today. Pauline would go through the ABC as no one has since Sir Talbot Duck Manton. And that's going back, God, it would be 50 or more years ago. I wonder if Sir Talbot would have hired Grace Tame. Anybody? Probably not. Probably not. Anyway, I doubt it. Anyway, every program will be on high alert. Don't let an opportunity go by to give Pauline a kick. Right. So on the Insiders, getting back to that, I think only like-minded people are involved in the panel. I don't know who the producer is, but they usually decide these things. Will Pauline Hanson ever turn up as the interview? That would be interesting. I'd like to see that. They painted her as a anti-jobs, anti-family, anti-immigration, anti-union, anti-education person. She is just anti-bad policies. Anti all the things that are wrong. I think, that's my opinion. You see, what she wants to do is to fix the policies that have got us into this mess. She says, if you don't come to work, you don't get paid. That's about parental leave. Paid parental leave? And you've got bereavement leave if your dog dies. You've got... I don't understand. At the moment, she says, if you're the boss, you have the right to hire and fire. Absolutely right. At the moment, of course, you don't. It's not that she's anti. She is pro-rebalancing, doing it in a way that is logical and fair, in a way that will promote productivity with plenty of reward and incentive. This government wants to maintain the status quo, much of which has been designed by the ACTU, the unions. Well, why not? They own the Labour Party. They play with words. The government, backflip. Well, I think the media is using more words like that. They, of course, call it a carve-out. With regard to the budget, it's a carve-out. It's not a backflip. What else is there? We don't lie. We just change our position. Weasel words. All the while, when they're not playing with the language, they're putting their hands in our pockets and calling it budget reform. It's dishonesty and could be called common theft, ladies and gentlemen. I know the government is working on the basis that this next election is a long way away, and in politics, golly, a week is a long time, let alone 18 months. But if you're working on that theory, good luck. There will be people like me and others who will not let you off the hook, even if Labor and the Greens, the left, in other words, do sell out the Australian people and push this budget through. Most importantly, the working men and women of Australia will be sold out. That line will or should ring in our ears. You remember that line which, was it Margaret Thatcher? I can't remember who it was, but it was a good line. When Labor runs out of money, they come after ours. They've certainly run out of money. The Parklands tree massacre, I want to talk to you about that, brought into sharp focus as I drove through the city, Parklands, on the weekend. Unbelievable. For what? A once-a-year motorcycle race? The government said 45 trees. No. Turns out to be 400 trees. And when you think it has taken many of those magnificent trees 200 years or more to grow, probably a lot more, you drive through the Parklands wide boulevards and you see yellow ribbons tied around huge trees which earmarks them for removal. Hundreds of them, hundreds. In fact, 400, as I said. It's totally outrageous, and a government shouldn't think about doing something like that for a motorcycle race, which is a once-a-year thing. Probably no one will go to see it. People maybe from interstate, yep, but I don't think the locals would make it viable. And if you want the tourists, they're probably more likely to come because of our beautiful parklands. Anyone can have a motorcycle race. These trees are part of a unique inner city square that makes us special. For heaven's sake. And listen, speaking of massacres, I don't mean to be morbid, but New South Wales continues to slaughter the wild horses, the iconic Brumbies of the Highlands of New South Wales and Victoria. They have a licence to kill these horses. Well, they've given themselves a licence to kill these horses. They're part of our history. World War I, World War II. And this is against a profile. You know, they're awfully keen about the United Nations and international respect and all that stuff. In the United States, where the Mustang, the wild horse of America, has been given protected status since the 1800s. These idiots in New South Wales, led by one, I believe, Aboriginal activist, has sentenced these beautiful creatures to death for no other reason other than they're not indigenous. And sadly, what was the other line? They remind him of colonial times. Well, I don't give a damn what they remind him of. They remind me of history. They remind me of bravery, of beauty, loyalty and service. This guy is not doing the Aboriginal cause any good, if you ask me. I'm sure in colonial times bad things happened. And you can't tell me that in Aboriginal times, going back however many umpteen years, when there were 280 different tribes in Australia, I believe, mostly at war all the time, you can't tell me that there weren't atrocities committed, tribe against tribe, against tribe against tribe. Slaughtering these horses is an international disgrace. Government could and should protect these horses, but they want them dead, shot, exterminated. Tom Burlinson, don't know if you saw the movie, The Man from Snowy River. If you saw the movie, you will know the story, and you will know that he's a person who knows much more about the subject than most. He slams the slaughter and condemns the government for their callous disregard of history and the importance of the Brumby, to be shot and left to die in the cold for absolutely no reason. Hundreds of significant Australians, including, I'll have all of these ready by Friday, but Dick Smith is appalled. Leader of the opposition, Angus Taylor, has come out in support of the horses. The Minns Labor government are a disgrace. This is a very strange juxtapositioning, I know. But on one hand, and I don't disagree, we are very happy to support the rescue the rehoming of laboratory animals, mice and rats and rabbits. These tests and experiments on lab animals has long been contentious. I've been doing stories about that for, I don't know, 50 years or more. Even if arguably beneficial to humanity. Anyway, the Liberty Foundation, I'm trying to get them on the program for Friday as well, but the Liberty Foundation successfully rescues, rehabilitates and puts up for adoption rats, mice and rabbits from laboratories. The horses die for not being indigenous. Rabbits aren't indigenous. Look, we go to great lengths to save them, home them, rehome them. Aboriginals are not indigenous. They came here from India. And I don't know where the rabbits came from. We got a huge double, triple standard going on here. We care for and rehome lab animals, but we slaughter the beautiful wild horses who have served us so well for so long and so beautifully. Anyway, I know you feel strongly about it, Pete.
Oh, do I ever?
Well, something is going to bust.
And what about the camels?
Camels too. I'm not for killing anything. No, I don't think we have to do that. And as for the lab animals, I would have thought we would have by now come up with a computer model that could duplicate anything that an animal could show us in a laboratory. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday. Oh, golly, yes. It's Christopher, as we used to call him, Bubbles. Christopher Bubbles, my son. It's his birthday. He was born the year 2000. I remember it well. I do. He was born year 2000. Happy birthday, Christopher. 2018, 12 boys and their coach are stranded in a cave in Thailand. Monsoonal flooding. A successful international rescue effort. They were discovered 9 days later. They made a movie about it. Ron Howard made the movie. And Christopher, my son, in fact, is in the credits of that movie for providing the special effects for the film. Very proud of that. 930, the world's oldest parliament. Where do you reckon that would be, guys?
Rome?
No, not Rome. The oldest parliament?
England?
No.
Cairo?
No.
Egypt?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Yes.
930, the world's oldest parliament, the Icelandic Parliament. God's chosen people. Yeah.